and welcome to the Ultimate Racing League. We are here with the Wednesday multi-class challenge, which URL are running. Currently we are, where are we? We are at week 6. So we are halfway through. We're just over halfway through actually. 10 rounds to go. We're on week 6. Now I just want to check that we are actually broadcasting, because I seem to be having a few technical issues this morning. So if you can just bear with me a second while I try and check it. Excuse me. There's not a lot showing, to be honest, but we shall have to crack on anyway and hope that it's all good. So that's what I'll do. Well, thank you, Steve, for doing that. I can't see it, so I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, mate. Right, so I've had the heads up that we are live, so I'll crack on with this. Right, as I've said, we are with the multi-class for a Wednesday. We've got the GR1s, GR3s on track at the same time. This is a 60-minute race, and I'd like to say welcome back to Red Bull, but it feels like we haven't left it this week, so it's welcome to Red Bull. All the drivers, myself, commentators, everybody seems to have been camped here for over a week now. We've had quite a few races, so this track is becoming very familiar to us. I'm just going to very quickly run down the league standings as they are leading into this race. We'll go down the GR1s first. So leading the table at the minute is Wadru on 80 points, but he's also... Oops, oh Lord, it's all going completely wrong for me now. Wadru is on 80 points, but he's joint top with Fitzy, also on 80 points. So nothing to separate those two. Brian Moncani, not that far behind, on 71 points. Toby is in 63 points, and in 5th place is Matt on 60 points. So only 20 points are separating the top 5. So getting really close in the GR1 championship. In the GR3 championship, slightly different story. Derview 85, 86, he'll tell me off if I get that wrong. Derg is out in front on 95 points. Grasshopper in second on 80 points. Unforgiven with 71 points. Osman on 55 points. And C. Brownie on 47 points. So they're the top 5 in the GR3 class. So a bit of a difference in the GR3s, bit of a gap to catch up from C. Brownie up to Derg. But we do still have these 5 races still to go. As far as the team standings go, we've got Team Rebellion leading the way with TCC Rebellion Racing in second. Team Martini is third. Team Rosande B-Star, I think that's how you say that one, is fourth. And Hertz Team Jota is in fifth. So that's your team standings. Now on to today's race. I've mentioned already we are at Red Bull Ring again. We are on the usual layout. It's not reverse or anything silly like that. It is the normal one. 2.6 miles, 10 turns, and well, I like to call this one the penalty zone, because everywhere is just one big penalty, and I'm sure we'll see that as we go along. The little red penalties popping up above the cars. A couple of corners to look out for is turns 9 and 10 especially. That's Rint and Red Bull Mobile. They are really fraught with danger. And the Nicky Lauda curve, which is turn 1, and turn 3, which is Remus. Really hot spots for penalties, but we'll see how the guys get on as we go through the race. We'll go through tyres, etc., as we go through. So what I'm going to do is, I don't normally do it with these because it's quite a decent grid, but we're going to have a walk down the grid. The positions for grid, it's not qualifying, it is reverse grid according to league positions, if that makes sense. On pole we've got Chuck. These are the Group 1s, obviously, out there in front. Then we've got Neil Farmack. Third, we've got Toby. Fourth, we've got Brian Moncani. Getting a bit dark out there, isn't it, with the lights on. 5th is Fitzy. Then we've got 6 is Wadru. And that's the lineup for the GR1s. So, in 7th, or pole position for the GR3s, is Biggie. Then we've got Stealth in 8th in the NSX. Then we've got myself, Slowpoke. C Brownie is 10th. 11th is Osman. Then 12th we've got Grasshopper in the familiar Corvette, and right at the back, because he's leading the championship, is Derview 86 for his correct full name. So Derg starts at the back. Now the reason they are spread out like they are is it's because it's a rolling start, and well, you can see the gap between first and last, can't you? So it's enormous. So we shall get this race underway, and let's see how the guys get on, shall we? Now, have I put the settings on? Probably not. Yes, I have. As Chuck gets us underway and heads down towards the Niki Lauda curve for the first time, obviously the GR1's going to be a lot faster around here. We're looking at 45 laps, but that is for the GR1 cars. GR3s are looking up, I don't know, 38 to 40, something like that. We shall see. Now the race does end when the first GR1 car crosses the line at the end of lap 45. So it's whatever the GR3s are on when that happens. So Chuck leading the way, Neil Farmack in second, Toby third, Brian Moncani in fourth. It looks like Brian's already trying to put Toby under a bit of pressure as they go into turn 4, which is Slosh Gold for the first time of this 45 lap race. It's going to be roughly an hour as the GR1s go flying through turns 6 and 7. We'll just see what's happening with the GR3s. We've got Biggie still already opening up a little bit of a gap back to Stealth. Then we've got Brownie in the Porsche, just getting right underneath the rear wing of Stealth. Grasshopper in 10th. He's managed to get by Slowpoke already. Slowpoke in 11th. He's coming under attack from Osman. And then we've got Derg down at the back. So everybody's still in touch. And here we go with the first of the penalties. And it's Chuck, our race leader. He's picked up a half second already as he goes around turn 1 for the second time. So obviously the GR1s are going to get around here very, very quickly. You can see Chuck's done it in a 120. Well, that time will drop, I'm sure. So let's have a look at the tyres. Now all tyre compounds have to be used, and for a minimum of 2 laps. So you have to use the softs, mediums and hards for a minimum of 2 laps. You could use them obviously for a lot longer. So let's have a look. Chuck is out on the softs for the first stint. Neil Farmack is on the mediums. Toby's on the hards. So quite a mixture for the top 3. Fitzy is out on the mediums. Brian Moncani, he is on the hards. He's already got a half-second penalty as well. Wadru on the mediums. Biggie leading the way in the Group 3. He's doing a great job as well, actually, and he is on the hard tyres. Grasshopper on the mediums. Grasshopper has made his way all the way up to just behind Biggie already, so Grasshopper is definitely on a charge on those medium tyres. Stealth has decided to go with the mediums for the first stint as well. Brownie just behind him on the softs. Then we've got Slowpoke on the softs. Derg has made his way up to 12th. He's on the hards, and Osman also on the hards, bringing up the rear. I'm sure he will not stay there for very long. Not my favourite track, as we will find out a bit later on, but Chuck doing a great job at the minute. Got himself a little bit of breathing space. Back to Neil Farmack. Where's the battle then? Let's have a look. It looks like it might be between Toby and Fitzy, so let's jump on board with Fitzy as we head down the hill towards turn 4. Quite a tricky turn, this one. A lot of gravel out on the left hand side. You can see Toby just drifting a little bit, but managing to keep it on track. Fitzy keeping a tighter line. Now Dites to the inside. Is he going to have a look as we go around Raunch? Down the hill they go. not a lot of pressure coming from Woodrow at the minute on Fitzy, so Fitzy can concentrate fully on the back of Toby's car as we head down towards turn 9. This is where penalties are dished out very easily if you drift too far to the left, as we saw Fitzy go. Toby was dicing with it as well around turn 10 and back onto the start-finish straight. Now I think they may have both just got away with that one, but they were pushing track limits, the pair of them. And then up through Nicky Lauda curve, Fitzy just cannot get close enough, can he, to Toby, although he seems to have got a decent exit from turn 1 as they go up the hill. He's trying to get in the slipstream of Toby as they approach turn 3, this real tight right-hander, not close enough to put a challenge in at the minute though. So let's just have a look and see what's happening further down. Woodrow, he don't mind these two battling in front of him. That gives him the opportunity to catch up. Brian Moncani down in 6th. He's well, I don't know if he's carrying another penalty or it's the same one. I think it's another one. Grasshopper now. Grasshopper's got himself into 7th, so he is actually leading the DR3 challenge. He's got Biggie and Brownie both battling away just behind him. They've gone side by side as they go up the hill towards turn 3. Now this is going to be very tight as they go around here. If you can get the outside line, the inside line, sorry. Well, I think Brownie couldn't quite get on the power, and Biggie just got the much better exit out of there. So Biggie keeps his nose in front with Brownie just behind him as we go down towards turn 4. Brownie carrying that half second, so he will have to serve that as we well, I think it's about turn 8, just after turn 8 is the penalty zone, just before you get to Rint, which is turn 9. So it's not in a bad spot, to be fair. We've seen a lot worse. The Interlagos one, as I think, is about the worst penalty zone, but you can see that yellow bar, there it is. It's been well. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. I think Brownie served a penalty but has picked another one as well. So Brownie really struggling with track limits. He's got Biggie just behind him in 9th. Biggie now getting right underneath the rear wing of that Porsche. Is he going to make a move? He goes to the outside, so good defending from Brownie. If Biggie wants this, he's got to go the long way round. He tries the cutback as Brownie goes very, very wide, and that is going to be another half second. As you can see, he's now got up to a 1 second penalty, so Brownie really falling foul to the track limits in these opening few laps. We've got Slowpoke down in 10th. He's being challenged by Derg as they go into turn 3. Derg on the inside gets a nice tight line. Slowpoke just having to drop behind Derview 86 as they go down the hill towards turn 4. Stealth just sitting there in the background, just waiting for something to happen. And then we've got Osmond. Well, I don't know what has happened to Osmond, but he is way down in 13th now. Oh, unless he's made a stop. I think Osmond's made a stop, actually. I think he started on the hard tyres, didn't he? And Osmond has already pitted, so he's done his mandatory 2 laps on the hard tyres. He's now out on the softs, so I'm sure he's going to start making his way through the pack very quickly, actually. We know Osmond is extremely quick. So we'll go back up to the top and see what's happening with Chuck. Now he really has opened up a lead now, and he's going to start catching up to the back of the GR3 guys. This is where it starts getting interesting, especially on such a short, small course as Red Bull with the penalty zones. Now the GR3 guys do not have to move out of the way. I do mention this every week, but we do have new people listening, so apologies if I'm repeating myself, but the GR3 guys do not have to move off of the racing line. It is up to the faster guys to find a way by as safely as they can. Obviously there is a little bit of communication throughout the race, and if the GR3s can move out of the way safely, they will do. We don't want to get involved in the Group 1 battles, but if you're in a battle of your own, obviously you'll want to stay on the racing line. Now Chuck just coming up to Stealth as we go through turn 3. Now he's got quite a few cars ahead of him, so he's got to try and pick a route through them all, and he manages to get past I think it was Slowpoke and Brownie. He's got Derview just in front of him as they go into turn 4. Now Derg really doesn't want to compromise his own line there, and Chuck just hugs that inside line and gets through. Neil Farmack obviously is going to be following through as well, and you can see the traffic ahead of Neil Farmack. Let's jump on board with Neil Farmack. You can see the traffic now. He's having to take a tighter line. It's not the line he would normally take, so obviously he's compromising a little bit of his speed to try and get through the traffic, but he manages to do it quite safely. So well done to Neil. Toby in third. He has now got to try and negotiate through the traffic, and this is how it's going to be from now on. It's the GR1s, because they obviously caught up. I mean, the fastest lap so far is a 1:18.7, and that's from Chuck. And if we go down and see, excuse me, what the fastest lap of the GR3s is, and it's probably going to be somebody like Grasshopper, a 1:30. So there is a good 12 seconds between the speed of the GR1s and the GR3, so it's going to get very congested very quickly. Biggie sitting in 8th, doing a fantastic job still on the hard tyres as Toby manages to make his way by. Then we've got Woodrew, I saw there, he's going to be trying to get by as well. Derg is sitting now in 9th, Derg on the hard tyres as well. So two guys on hard tyres seem to be doing a lot better in the GR3s than the rest of us on the softs and the mediums. Slowpoke up to 10th, just sitting behind Derg. Now Slowpoke on the soft tyres should have the advantage, but well, let's admit it, Derg's a lot quicker than I am, so I'm never going to be able to get by him, am I? But you know, having a good race so far. Sticking with Derg. Then we've got Brownie in 11th. He's managed to get rid of all the penalties that he's had. Stealth in 12th, and Osman in 13th. Now Osman, we think, has made a stop, so he's got some catching up to do. It's not like Osman to be all the way down at the back, but he will be catching up very quickly, I'm sure. So back up to the overall race leader in the GR1 is Chuck. Now Chuck's not been taking part for a while, so it's good to have him back on track. Good to see him, and he's out there showing them all how to do it. Got quite a comfortable gap at the minute, not really coming under any pressure from Neil Farmack. You can just about see the headlights in the distance of Neil Farmack as they go around turn 6 and 7. Chuck now through turn 8 down towards Rint, which is turn 9, first of the right-handers in this sequence, and then through the second right-hander, which is turn 10, trying to keep it within track limits, and then onto the start-finish straight across the line. The start lap 10, Neil Farmack in second, Toby in third. Nearest we've got to a battle there, I think, is Woodrew and Fitzy. Fitzy still just sitting behind Woodrew. Woodrew managing to do a great job of defending against Fitzy. Now as they go up towards turn 3, let's go on board with Fitzy. He's on the medium tyres. As we approach Remus, hard on the brakes. Of course the GR1 cars have got more grip the faster they go. It's the downforce that you want from these things, so you really need to push the limit, so you don't want to be going slowly in these things. But these guys make it look so easy, don't they, as they go around some of these trickier turns. We can see we've got absolutely no challenge whatsoever from Brian Moncani behind Fitzy. So Fitzy, full concentration on the rear end of Woodrew's car, desperately trying to get in that slipstream so he can make a move on him. So Brian Moncani there in 6, all on his own. Grasshopper also all on his own in 7th. Well, he's actually leading the Group 3 challenge, but he is in 7th position, and well, he's loving it out there, isn't he? He's on the medium tyres. He's got just under half a tank of fuel, so we've got at least another, what, 7 or 8 laps to go before Grasshopper needs to pit. Of course, he can come in whenever he likes, but we've got a good few laps to go yet, so that lead is only going to get bigger and bigger, I'm sure. Derg, our current championship leader, has moved up into 8th position now and doing a fantastic job on those hard tyres. Biggie also on the hard tyres. He's coming under a bit of pressure though from Slowpoke. Slowpoke trying to go up the inside as they get to Nicky Lauda curve, which is turn 1, both side by side. Biggie just managing to hold on to it and not pick a penalty up. Biggie still got his nose in front of Slowpoke. Slowpoke still trying to stick with him, getting that slipstream as they go up towards turn 3. And around they go, nice and tight. Again, Slowpoke trying to get in the slipstream. Not probably going to make anything move in, make a move at turn 4. But if Slowpoke can stick with Biggie and get tight enough to him, if we can get around turns 9 and 10 safely, get a good exit out of 10, we can probably make a move on Biggie on the start-finish straight. Tyres though starting to go on Slowpoke's car. The soft tyres are starting to wear out. So Biggie has got the hard tyres on. They are in a better condition, but they are hard tyres, and I've been told that a knackered soft tyre is still better than a new hard tyre. Well, let me tell you, that depends on the driver, because my tyres are about 50% and I still can't get by Biggie. But then again, Biggie is a good racer. He knows how to defend. He knows when to defend. So having a good battle, the two BMWs fighting it out, which is what we like to see. Osman down in 11th. He is he's managed to get by Stealth, so Osman is making progress. Tyres starting to go on him though, so he really does need to get a move on if he wants to catch up to the back of Slowpoke and Biggie and start getting through the pack. He needs to do it before those tyres go on him completely. Stealth on the medium tyres, and then Brownie on the softs. He's down in 13th, not having a fantastic opener to this race. So let's go back up to the top and have a look and see what's happening with the Chuck. He is still out in front. Neil Farmack has got a little bit closer, but you know, there's still a bit of breathing space for Chuck. He's not under a lot of pressure at the minute. Let's just check the tyres. So Chuck on the soft tyres, I would say about 55% wear on those tyres now, and he's on half a tank of fuel. Neil Farmer, he's used a lot more fuel. His tyres are okay though. He's on the mediums, sitting comfortable. Oh, as Chuck's gone off and out, he's had a bit of, it looked like he had a bit of a coming together with Stealth. Now let's just, I'm just going to do a bit of a chase cam thing here. We're on board with Chuck. We've gone around turn 5, heading towards turn 6. Down the hill we go, towards Worth Curve. Now Chuck was trying to go around the outside, I think, of Chuck, Stealth. Stealth was just unaware that he was there. Let's see if we can go on board with Stealth and see it from his point of view. And there we go, Chuck trying to go around the outside, just run straight into the back of Stealth. I don't think Stealth knew that Chuck was there, and that's unlucky for Chuck because he was leading, and by the time he gets himself back on track, he's now down in 5th, and he has got to be careful as well for the next few turns because he's got really dirty tyres as well. So that was so unlucky. And yes, absolutely, Steve, you just can't believe that. All the way from 1st to 5th, and into the pits he goes. He's had enough of those tyres. Let's see where he comes out. Brian Moncani is in 6th at the minute. He's gone across the line, so he's going to take P5 away from Chuck. Let's have a look. So Chuck all the way to the back of the GR1s. So we're now watching Grasshopper leading the way in the GR3s. He really is on his own, isn't he? He's pulled such a big gap. He's got Derg chasing after him, but Derg is on the hard tyres. Now Derg will go a little bit further into the race than Grasshopper, although looking at the fuel they may well pit round about the same time, so that's going to be interesting. Biggie, he's in third, he's still on the hard tyres and he's still got Slowpoke stuck to his bumper as we see Toby trying to get by these two. Now remember what I said earlier, the GR3 guys do not have to move off the racing line. So if they are in a battle, as Biggie and Slowpoke are, this gets a bit hair-raising, to say the least. You're trying to race the guy in front or behind, whichever car you're in, and then you get all of a sudden all these GR1 guys flying at you. It's yeah, can be a bit scary. We can see Osman has now caught right up to the back of Slowpoke and Biggie, and I'm sure Osman is going to be making a move on these two very shortly. Slowpoke still having a bit of a look up the inside of Biggie. Osman got the better exit and has pulled alongside Slowpoke. Now the Supra, let's have a look. Has it got the grunt to beat the BMW up the hill towards turn 3? Slowpoke sticking to the inside line. Oh, Osman, I think, well, I thought he was going to get a much better entry into, oh well, he did the undercut. What a fantastic move from Osman. Let's just nip back and have a look at that from Osman's point of view. Slowpoke was on the inside, so Osman just on the brakes just a little bit earlier, got his car slowed down, and what a great move. He got the inside of Slowpoke and take 10th, and now chasing Biggie down. Whoops. Always press the buttons too many times. Stealth down in 12th, and Brownie in third. Oh, Brownie, it's just let's just have a look and see what's happened to Brownie. It really is not his day, is it? I mean, this is somebody who hates this track more than me, I think. Well, I don't know what the cameraman's watching, but Brownie has found himself on the gravel. The hazards are going. He really is not enjoying it. Now, whether he's had a disconnect or there's some sort of technical problem, I don't know. But he's been lapped by Dirk, so obviously Grasshopper's gone through as well. Now our new race leader, Neil Farmack, yet to pit, still out on the medium tyres. Toby in second, he's on the hard tyres, he is carrying a penalty. He's got Wadru and Fitzy chasing him down. Let's go on board with Wadru as we try and get underneath the rear wing of Toby. You can see how much the slipstream really does help. Wadru just flying up to the back of Toby. It looks like Wadru's really not interested in making the move there. I thought he might have pushed a little bit harder there, but to me, he looked like he wasn't interested. He's got Fitzy just behind him. Maybe Wadru's just trying to set Toby up. He knows he's going to have to serve that penalty, and he knows that he'll get P2 away from him. So he's concentrating more on keeping Fitzy behind, I think, than trying to take that P2 away from Toby just yet. We've only got another couple of turns, and Toby will be serving that penalty. You can see the bar starting to fill up. So we'll just stick with Wadru for the minute. Now Wadru will definitely move up into P2 as Toby serves that penalty. The big thing with these the GR1 cars though, the half a second penalties don't really cost you that much unless you've got somebody like this situation who is right on your tail, because the acceleration on these things is so much better. Toby has dived into the pits. Let's get the normal camera back up as Chuck goes by stealth. So Chuck out on in 5th, he's on a new set of medium tyres, a full tank of fuel. So Chuck plans to go into this a little deeper into this race now. So looking at a 2-stop for Chuck as he goes by Slowpoke, who God knows where I'm going there. Let's just have a look, see what happened there. I don't know, I think I got lost, I think. Oh no, yeah, trying to go into the pit, so that's what that was all about. As Stealth follows us into the pits as well. Brownie is sat in the pits. Well, there's not a lot happening there, is there? So I'm not sure if Brownie's having some technical issues. But back up to our race leader, or current race leader, shall I say, is Neil Farmack. He's on a purple sector as well, as he goes through turn 8 down towards turn 9. If he can keep the momentum going, you may well just take that fastest lap away from Toby. So through turn 9, oh, just about hanging on to it without getting a penalty. So let's just see if he did it. No, he didn't. He's about 4/10 off, so he did scrub a bit of time off him going wide through turn 9. But Neil Farmack out in front, Wadru in second. He has still got Fitzy for company. Fitzy is just not going to let Wadru get away, is he? So Wadru on the mediums, Fitzy also on the mediums. I didn't see what Neil Farmack. Well, it's all medium tyres at the front at the minute. Toby's out on a fresh set of medium tyres. Then we've got Chuck also on medium tyres. So top 5 guys all on the mediums now. Brian Moncani also on the mediums. Derg, he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, I would imagine. The fuel light is flashing, so Derg will come in and change his tyres. I would imagine he's going to go onto the mediums as well. Seems to be the theme with this race, medium tyres being used in the middle section. Osman on the soft tyres, he's in 8th position now, chasing Derg down. He's managed to get by Grasshopper. Well, that was obviously because Grasshopper has pitted. Grasshopper has come out on some soft tyres and a full tank of fuel as well. So I think Grasshopper's leaving the hard tyres to the very last minute. If he can just do the last sort of couple of laps, then he'll be pleased with that. Biggie into the pits. He's done his stint on the hards and he's now out. Let's have a look, see what tyres he's got on. He's got the mediums. So Biggie in P10. Is he going to stay in P10? I think he is, yeah. It was Fitzy that was going by. It was not one of the GR3s. The nearest GR3 is Slowpoke in 11th. He's got Stealth not that far behind him. Stealth on the hard tyres now. Now this is where Slowpoke really needs to try and open up a bit of a gap back to Stealth. He's got the better compound tyres on. Stealth doing his stint on the hards. And then Brownie, well, he's definitely got some technical issues as Brownie, because he's been sat in the pits now for, well, quite a while. So I think that's his race done. Neil Farmack carrying a half-second penalty. That won't affect his track position. As I said, these cars, the acceleration on them is so good that half-second doesn't really affect you unless you've got somebody stuck right up your jacksy. So Neil Farmack served his penalty and is still out in front. Wadru in second. Now he does seem to be getting himself a little bit of breathing space back to Fitzy. Fitzy's still there, but we're looking at probably a couple of car lengths distance between the two of them now. So Wadru just starting to inch away from Fitzy. If we look at the fuel that these guys are carrying, Wadru is just below a quarter of a tank. Fitzy, well, identical for fuel. Then we go down to Toby sitting in 4th. In no man's land really is poor old Toby. Same with Chuck. Getting a bit lonely in the mid part of this race. On lap 20 of 45, so still a long way to go. Brian Moncani in 6th. He's now done his pit stop and is out on medium tyres. Now I've mentioned before that I think Brian is a good tactician and he gets his strategies right. Brian tells me otherwise. He says he just jumps in the car and goes and makes it up as he goes along. Well, I wish I was as good as that at making it up as I go along, because Brian does seem to get his tactics right. But he assures me he doesn't practice it. He just gets in the car and goes. So I would say even more well done to Brian then. But Brian currently sitting in 6th. We do know he'll go on to the soft tyres a little bit later on in the race, so he can really start to get the pace going. Fastest lap is a 1:18, and you can see that Brian's actually not that far off. Actually, he's about 6 tenths off. He's got a 1:18.6 was his previous lap, so Brian's not that far off the pace now. Let's just see what he does here. Yeah, a 1:18.2, so lap times are coming down for Brian as he comes up to the back of Stealth and gets by him successfully at turn 1. So Grasshopper now up to 7th, leading the GR3s again. That means that Derg has pitted, so he has, and as predicted, Derg has come out onto the medium tyres. Osman also made a pit and picked up a penalty. Well, race leader is now into the pits. That's Neil Farmack. So he's dived into the pits. So Woodrow takes over the lead. He's stayed out, goes across the start-finish line and goes through turn 1. So Woodrow just coming up to the pit exit now and goes through. Is Fitzy going to go as well? Yes, he is. Fitzy goes through. Neil Farmack still sat in the pits. Fuel only just going in for Neil Farmack. So where is he going to come out? Toby is just coming around now, turn 10. And across the start-finish line, Neil Farmack has finished putting fuel in, and you can just see on the right-hand side there, Neil is making his way out of the pits. Now, can Toby get around turn 1 and ahead of Neil Farmack? No, he can't. Neil Farmack had just got out ahead of Toby. So can the momentum take Toby up to the back of Neil Farmack as they go into turn 3? If Toby can get close enough. Neil has come out. He's on soft tyres though. They are cold, so it's going to probably take him about a lap to warm them up. So Toby really needs to get a move on to get onto the back of Neil if he wants to start to challenge him. Neil Farmack has got to get them tyres up to temperature. Toby doing everything he can to catch up to him and put Neil under a bit of pressure, but I think if Neil can hold Toby off at least to the end of this lap, then he should start to pull away. Then the tyres will start to work for him. We'll just stick with these two for a second as they come around turn 9 down towards turn 10, back onto the start finish, and across the line they go. Let's jump on board with Toby as we head towards Nicky Lauda curve. We do have a GR3 in front, and that's Derg, but it's going to be an easy pass. We're on the straight, so there's no problem. Derg's not going to get in the way. Up the hill they go towards turn 3. Hard on the brakes for this right-hander, and then on the power as quick as you can, but you don't want to put it down too early, otherwise the back end is going to come round and have a word with you. So Neil Farmack's tyres, you can see now, are definitely up to temperature, and Toby is going to be struggling to get by him. He's got to wait for a mistake, I think, from Neil Farmack, which we don't see very often. As good as Toby is, he really has got to work hard if he wants to get by Neil Farmack. Now then, the front two, Woodrow has... well, Woodrow must have pitted. No, he hasn't. Fitzy's come into the pits. I'm just having a look. Where is Woodrow? Woodrow stayed out. So Woodrow stayed out for an extra lap. Fitzy, who was right behind him and currently in second, has dived into the pits now. That means that Neil Farmack is going to move up into P2 as he goes across the line, followed by Toby. Toby now moves up into P3 as they go around turn 1 and past the pit exit. Toby follows him through, so we've now got Woodrow leading the race. Neil Farmack in second, Toby third. Fitzy's going to rejoin it in fourth on a fresh set of soft tyres. Now Woodrow is going to have to pit as we go around turn 7 and then into turn 8. So Woodrow running out of fuel, and he does like to do this, doesn't he? He likes to drain every drop out of that tank before he puts any more in. But he will come into the pits now. He's going to have a change of tyres as well. Now, where is Neil Farmack? Neil Farmack is trying to get by Grasshopper as they go around turn 6 down towards Worth Curve. Neil Farmack has got by. Toby has got to try and get by Grasshopper as well. I think it was Chuck who had that bump with Stealth in exactly that spot earlier on. So these guys don't want to do that, do they? Wadru into the pits then. Fuel still not going in as Neil Farmack comes towards turn 10 and onto the start-finish straight. Now it will show that Neil Farmack is in the lead as they cross the start finish, but he's not until he passes the pit exit. Now Wadru has taken off and taken on enough fuel, he thinks. Neil Farmack goes through, Toby goes through, and Wadru rejoins in third just behind Toby and Fitzy in fourth. So it is now starting to close up between the front four, really, isn't it? So the front four are a lot closer together now, with Neil Farmack leading the way. Toby sitting in second, Wadru in third. Wadru out on a brand new set of soft tyres, so he's going to get them warmed up this lap, and then I'm sure he's going to be on a charge. Fitzy also on soft tyres as well. So the two leaders, Wadru and Fitzy, sitting third and fourth, both on soft tyres, and let's see what they can do. Let's have a move down the order as we see Chuck trying to get by Grasshopper. Chuck sitting in fifth, all on his own really. No challenge, well, nobody to challenge and nobody challenging him. Brian Moncani, oh, Brian has got a 3-second penalty. That'll be for pit lane. He's crossed the pit lane line. Bit harsh really, I think. I've always thought that 3 seconds just for crossing at the beginning or the ending of the pit lane, but that's not going to do Brian any favours at all. 3 seconds. Grasshopper then in 7th, leading the charge of the Group 3 cars in the familiar Corvette. Bigger juice. Then we've got Derg sitting in 8th in the AMG. Derg on the medium tyres. He is currently leading the Group 3 championship, and looks like he's going to bag some decent points this race as well, even if he doesn't catch up with Grasshopper. Although those two are fighting it out. There is only 15 points between them, but if Derg can stay in second, then I think that'll keep him ahead of Grasshopper. I think it's 20 for the win and 17 for second, so well, I'm not even going to try and work it out. Osman has moved up into 9th. Didn't have a great start to the race. I think he pitted early. He's done his stint on the hard tyres. He came in early for a pit stop, which put him all the way to the back, but he's now moved up into 9th or 3rd in the Group 3 race. As we see Brian go through, he's picked up another penalty. I did say at the beginning of this race, this is just one big penalty zone. Biggie sitting in 10th, he's all on his own. He's managed to shake off the challenge from Slowpoke. Slowpoke sitting in 11th on the medium tyres as we get a flurry of GR1 cars going by. And there you can see, trying to get out of everybody's way, especially your teammate. You do not want to be holding your teammate up. Stealth in 12th with Brownie. Brownie back in. He spent quite a considerable amount of time in the pit, so there was obviously some sort of mechanical issues with Brownie's car, but the mechanics have been working hard and they've got him back out on track, which is where we like to see him. So it's good that Brownie is he's up and racing again, albeit in 13. So back up to our race leader. Let's see what's happening up at the top. Neil Farmack still leading the way with Toby in second, Wadru third, Fitzy fourth. Oh, as Fitzy has a big slide coming out of turn 1. Let's just go back and have a look and see what happened to Fitzy, and I think it may be he just got across the curb, and a combination of getting across the curb and too much power too early there, it was that little sausage curb on the right that caught the rear wheels and flipped him round. Fitzy did a fantastic job of actually saving it and getting back onto the tarmac as quick as he did. Most of us would have spun 2 or 3 times and ended up facing the wrong way after a kiss with barrier, but Fitzy managed to hold on to it, so well done to him for that. But that's now put him way back off of the front 3, and most important of all, his rival Wadru, as Fitzy tries to clean his tyres as he goes through turn 4. So very unlucky for Fitzy. Got some work ahead of him now. We've got Chuck in 5th. Brian Moncani, well, he's managed to not pick a penalty up for a while. Currently in 6th. Then we've got Grasshopper. Then Derg. Everybody very spaced out now. Osman in 9th. He is almost the length of this long, well, I call it a straight. It's not so much a straight because there is a slight turn in there, turn 2. I don't really class it as a turn, it's more of a kink in the road. But that's the difference between Osman and Derg at the minute, is almost the length of that straight. Biggie sitting in 10th. Slowpoke in 11th with a penalty. Car looks good though, don't you think? Not the only thing we can say. Racing's not fantastic, but I think the car looks good. Stealth in 12th in the NSX. And then Brownie in 13th. Now, the interesting thing is, Stealth is out on the hard tyres, Slowpoke on the mediums. There is quite a gap between the two, but Stealth will go onto the soft tyres and Slowpoke will go onto the hard tyres after their next pit stop. So things will get interesting between those two. Brownie, unfortunately, at least 1 lap down, maybe 2, after his technical issues. So back up to the top now. This is really getting interesting now, as we've got Neil Farmack, we've got Toby and Wadru all fighting it out for P1. Let's jump on board with Toby, shall we? We've got Neil in front of us, we've got Wadru bearing down on us behind. As we start up the hill through turn 2 towards turn 3. So into Remus they go, hard on the brakes. Do not want to let the guy behind you get up the inside, and Toby's not doing that. He's managing to keep Wadru behind him, but he's also got one eye on Neil Farmack. He's waiting for Neil to make a mistake as they go into turn 4. Wadru trying to hold that inside line. Very tight round here. Again, everybody trying to keep it nice and tight. Oh, Wadru having a bit of a look at the inside. He's definitely got a lot closer now to Toby, hasn't he? As we go around turn 7. Well, you go, oh no, and Wadru's gone. Wadru's gone. What's happened there? Disaster. As we come down towards turn 7 through Worth Curve. And I still don't know what's happened there. I can't see what it is. Maybe it's just a bit too much power. Let's just have one more look. What a disaster for Wadru as we go through turn 7. Now, did he get himself on that AstroTurf? I don't think he did. I'm not even sure. There may have been a little bit of contact, but what a disaster for Wadru. He was really pushing hard. He was trying to get that P2 away from Toby, but has ended up spinning into the kitty litter. Fitzy goes through to now take up 3rd. And what a disaster for Wadru. So Fitzy, can't believe his luck, has moved up onto the podium after his mistake at turn 1. So now it is Neil Farmack and Toby left to fight it out for the win. We still have, including this one, 14 laps to go, so all is not over for Fitzy and Wadru, but the job is a lot harder especially for Wadru now. Andy has picked up a half-second penalty. So I can imagine the language that is coming out from beneath that visor in the cab of that car. He'll be shouting at somebody, and the dog's going to get it when he gets home as well, I'm sure. So Chuck down in 5th is now looking at the arse end of Wadru and fancies his chances, I'm sure, of getting up into P4, especially with Wadru carrying that penalty. So we'll just stick with them as they go through turn 7 and 8. Wadru will serve his penalty, but as I said earlier, the pickup is pretty quick in these cars. Wadru doesn't lose a place, but Chuck can get a little bit closer to him. Brian Moncani down in 6th. We'll go down the order, then we'll go back up and see what's happening with that battle. Grasshopper in 7th. He's got our current race leader at the minute, Neil Farmack, just trying to get by him. Grasshopper will be conscious he's there, but he is racing his own race, isn't he, Grasshopper? He's desperately trying to stay in that 7th or 1st of the GR3s as he laps Stealth. And Stealth staying well out of the way because he's got the GR1s coming through as well. So Grasshopper having a fantastic race at the minute in 7th. He's going to have to pit pretty soon though. Those tyres not looking too healthy. Then we've got Dirk. Let's just have a look, see what the difference is between the two. Well, I would say there's about 10 seconds, maybe a bit more, between Dirk and Grasshopper. Dirk looking a lot better tyre wise, so he is going to get a bit closer to Grasshopper. And remember, Dirk has got to use the softs as well. Excuse me. So for the last part of the race, Dirk will be on softs, so that could be a good battle towards the end. Osman sitting in 9th. Again, still quite a decent gap between himself and Dirk. Then we've got Biggie in 10th. He's had a good race, I think. I think he will be pleased with that 10th position at the minute, Biggie. Slowpoke down in 11th. With Stealth in the pits. Now Stealth is now changing onto the soft tyre. Well, I think, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Oh, they're putting some fuel in. I thought they were all just standing there admiring the paintwork on the car, but no, they were putting some fuel in. And Stealth is coming out. Well, he's going to be ahead of Brownie anyway, who's at least 1 lap down. I got right program report this morning. I do apologise. So back up to the top then. Neil Farmack still hanging on to P1 with Toby chasing him down. Now Toby has decided to come into the pits, so Toby in on the medium tyres, so he's going to get them changed, and well, he definitely needs fuel, doesn't he? He's coming with about a thimble full left. These guys like coiled springs ready to pounce into action. Fitzy in 2nd and Neil Farmack in 1st still. So Neil will have to pit, I think. Yeah, he definitely will. We've got about 10 or 11 laps to go, and those tyres are about 50% wear, so Neil Farmack will definitely have to pit. You can see we've got Toby in the pits. Wadru has come into the pits as well. So Fitzy really does need to try and put some distance between himself and Wadru, although Fitzy is going to have to stop for fuel, and it could well be at the end of this lap. He is just coming around Raunch now, down towards Worth Curve. So about another 3 corners to go, and well, less than that actually. 1 more corner before he gets to the pit entry. So let's just follow Fitzy to see if he is going to pit this lap, or he thinks he can get 1 more out of it, and he does. So Fitzy thinks he can get another lap out of it. He's just trying to get some distance between himself and Wadru. Wadru out now. He's on the hard tyres as well, so let's just see between Fitzy, because these are the championship leaders. Fitzy in 2nd. I'm just looking at the red triangle. He's just gone around turn 1, and Wadru just coming up to turn 6. Now the distance looks massive, but you've got to bear in mind the pit stop can take about 30 seconds, so that's probably the distance between them. So Fitzy, that's why he stayed out. He's trying to make the most of those soft tyres as he goes by Osman. So Fitzy will have to pit at the end of this lap for fuel and a change of tyres. Neil Farmack, I think he's probably got another lap or two, and then he's going to have to pit. Chuck is okay. He's probably got 2, maybe 3 laps of fuel left. The tyres are going to be okay for Chuck. So I think Toby's going to be the next real challenger. He's out on the racing softs. He's got over half a tank of fuel, so he's good, I think, to the end of the race. As we see Grasshopper's come into, well, I think Grasshopper did come into the pits. Yeah, he did. He's back out again, so Grasshopper back out in 7th and leading the GR3 challenge. And then we see Fitzy's into the pits. Biggie also into the pits as we see Derg come out in 8th position. He's going to get overtaken by our current race leader, Neil Farmack. So Fitzy is in the pits. Now then, Chuck, carrying a half-second penalty, does move up into P2. But the big challenge is, where is Wadru? The fuel just starting to go into Fitzy's car now as he drops to 4th. Toby goes through to 3rd. Wadru just coming up to turn 9. Now he's not going to get close enough to Fitzy. Fitzy is coming out on the hards and he will rejoin in 4th position with Wadru in 5th as Wadru just goes around turn 10 onto the start finish. Wadru also on the hard, so maybe the gap is going to be too big, and Fitzy is going to keep that 4th position. Vital for the points because they are on equal points, so on 80 points each in the championship. So Fitzy could just get his nose in front of Wadru if he can maintain this 4th position. I think it's about 13 points for 4th and 12 for 5th, so there still will only be a point in it, but Fitzy will top the table. Neil Farmack leading this race currently, but he is not in the top 5 at the minute, so he's going to be no real threat to Wadru and Fitzy. Although it will help him a lot. I think he will get back up into the top 5 if he wins this. Chuck in 2nd, having a great recovery race is Chuck. He is going to have to pit. Fuel's going down. Medium tyres looking a bit sorry for themselves now, are about 50, just over 50% wear. We've got, as Brian Moncani goes off. Well, it looks spectacular, Brian, but I'm sure it's not what you wanted. Let's have a look, see where it was. We've gone through turn 3. Oh, it was at turn 3, and he's just completely ended up facing the wrong way, hasn't he? And you can see, who was that? He just had a bit of a bump there, I couldn't see. But Brian struggling to get back on track. It might have been Wadru actually that just clipped Brian as he went through turn 3. I'm not sure. No, it wasn't Wadru, because Wadru's just come up to turn 3, so I'm not sure who it was. But Brian not having a fantastic time of it. In 6th position. So a race leader then dives into the pits. So where is Chuck? Chuck just through turn 8, approaching turn 9. Neil Farmack has just entered the pit, so he won't have reached the pit crew yet. Chuck going through turn 9, 10. Is Chuck going to come in? No, he's not. Chuck's going to stay out for another lap. He may well temporarily take the lead of this race. I say temporarily because he is going to have to pit for fuel. So Chuck has gone through. He goes through turn 1. Neil Farmack is on his way out, but where's he going to rejoin? Where's Toby? Toby has gone through turn 1 and has gone past the pit exit. As Neil Farmack comes out, but Neil Farmack's picked up 3-second penalty for crossing the pit line. Wow, let's have a look what difference that is going to make to Fitzy in 4th. Now where is Neil Farmack? He has just gone around turn 3 and Fitzy is just approaching turn 3. 3 seconds. penalty for Neil Farmack. Chuck is current race leader, but he is going to have to pit at either the end of this lap or the next lap. Toby in second. He's hoping to get to the end of the race now. He will probably, well, he will take over as race leader when Chuck comes into pit. Neil Farmack, though, is the big story at the minute with a 3-second penalty, with Fitzy bearing down on him. Now, I don't think Fitzy's going to get close enough to actually take that P3 away, but he's definitely going to get close enough to maybe start a challenge. So Fitzy comes up to turn 9. Neil Farmack just gone around turn 10, so Fitzy's definitely a lot closer now. So no more mistakes from Neil Farmack if you want to stay on the podium. So Chuck has stayed out. He's carrying a half-second penalty as he goes up to the other race leader, Grasshopper. Chuck through turn 1. Toby currently in second. He'll be encouraged to see that Chuck's got that half-second penalty. I'm not sure if he's aware that Chuck is going to have to pit at the end of this lap, but Toby will take over as race leader. And then he's got to try and fight off Neil Farmack with about 6 laps to go. So we'll just go down the order then. Neil Farmack in third, Fitzy in fourth, getting closer and closer. Wadru in fifth, Brian Moncarney sixth, Grasshopper is seventh. Then we've got Derg in eighth. Let's have a look, bit of a gap between Grasshopper and Derg, so that could well be the finishing position for these guys. Osman in ninth, he's got himself on the podium. Started at the well, right at the back, didn't he, with Derg and Grasshopper, and well, he didn't have a great start to the race, but he's really come strong. And we can see Chuck has dived into the pit, so as predicted, Toby has taken over. Biggie's down in 10th, all on his own. Slowpoke in 11th. Now, Slowpoke has come into the pits and changed onto hards. Stealth is on the softs. We did say that this was going to be a bit of a fight to the finish with these, and Stealth is catching rapidly. It's almost like Slowpoke's driving with a handbrake on. It probably was, actually, for all I know. And Brownie down in 13th. So let's just go up to the top, because this is where it's all getting very interesting. Toby is out in front. He's got himself a bit of a gap back to Neil Farmack in second, but Fitzy, who's gone into third, is getting closer to Neil Farmack. Woodrow in fourth. So has anybody got a pit? Let's have a look. No, Toby's going to be fine. Neil Farmack will be fine, as will Fitzy. So the front three are all going to make it to the end of the race. Woodrow will as well. He's on the hard tyres, but I don't think he's going to be able to put a challenge in on Fitzy. Fitzy, I think, he's just a few seconds too far ahead of Woodrow. Woodrow trying to fight his way past the traffic. Chuck in fifth, trying to hang on to the back of Woodrow as we go around turn 9. Brian Moncarney down in 6th. Then we've got Grasshopper all the way out on his own in 7th. Derg, Osman, Biggie, Slowpoke. Well, he's going to get done by Stealth now, isn't he? Let's jump on board with Stealth as we go into turn 1. Slowpoke on the hard tyres. Oh, Stealth gets a bit squiggly coming out of turn 1. Has to get the car straightened up again, so loses a little bit of time. So he's got a bit of catching up to do again as we go up the hill towards turn 3. Hard on the brakes. Try not to go, and Slowpoke decides he's going to go and kiss barrier. Let's have a look and see what's happened. It was through turn 3 with the hard tyres. Too much power, too early. And around we go, and there we go. Bit of a kiss there. We'll just wait for the rest of the traffic to go around before rejoining. So that's race over for me. Toby, though, looking very comfortable out in front. starting lap 42. Around Nicky Lauda curve. Neil Farmack in second. Fitzy in third. You can just see Neil Farmack up ahead. Neil Farmack on the hards, Fitzy on the hard. Oh, and Brian Moncani has decided to park up on turn 1. Shall we have a look and see what's happened to Brian? I don't want to put you through any more misery, but I think we need to see what's happened, Brian. As we approach turn 1. Now, did he get across that curb? It may have been... whoa. Yeah, I think he did go across the curb. Not enough to unsettle. I'm not really sure what's happened there, and I bet Brian doesn't know either. He'll probably have another look at that a couple of times and try and find out what the mistake was. But he's back on track now. Very sensibly waited for the guys to go ahead of him. Oops. Get the right camera view, eh? So back up to the top then. Toby out in front and looking okay. Neil Farmack in second. We just see Fitzy in the background, but Neil Farmack so far doing a good job. Has been in the front 3 for, well, most of this race, as we see Fitzy nearly losing the back end around turn 4, but Neil Farmack has been up there in the top 3 for well, all of the race, so he's had a good night really. As we're following Fitzy through turn 7 into turn 8, as we go down the hill then towards turn 9. Fitzy doing everything he can to catch up to the back of Neil Farmack. Good points for Fitzy though, and for Team Martini. At least one of us is doing it. But Fitzy, if he can stay in third, is going to go ahead of Wadru and top this league championship. As we see Brian Moncani has come into the pits for the final time. Wadru sitting in 4th, Chuck is 5th, Brian is 6th, not quite reached the pit crew yet. Grasshopper out on the hard tyres, he'll see the end of this race out on those tyres. Now he is coming under a challenge from Derg. Derg has caught right up to the back of Grasshopper. Derg on the soft tyres, although they are starting to show signs of wear. So maybe we have got a bit of a fight for the win in the GR3 championship, or in the GR3 race. Derg is currently leading with Grasshopper just behind him. As I say, I think if Derg stays in second, he will still top the championship. But it looked like Derg was challenging Brian Moncani then, but no, Brian's managed to get by both Derg and Grasshopper. So around turn 4 they go. Derg definitely a lot closer to Grasshopper. Let's jump on board, shall we, with Derg as we chase Grasshopper. Around turn 6, now right underneath the wing of that Corvette. Grasshopper on the hard tyres, Derg obviously on the softs, has got the better grip for now. We must be coming to near the end, and we will go and have a look and see what lap Toby's on in a second. I just want to follow these two through these last couple of turns, through turn 9 and through turn, because Derg wants to get a good exit through turn 10. If he can get on the power, get underneath that Corvette, he can maybe make a move before they get to turn 1, although the Corvette has got some grunt in a straight line. The Derg looks like he's struggling to keep up with him in that Mercedes. So through turn 1 they go. Obviously the Mercy's a little bit better through the turns, but that Corvette, as I say, just too many beans for it in a straight line. Now let's just have a look as far as lap goes, and we thought so. Toby is on the final lap. So this will be the final lap for everybody. So the GR3 guys are doing about 38, 39 laps. Toby is on his 45th as he approaches turn 3. Neil Farmack still sitting in second. Fitzy is third. So that looks like the podium. Toby, Neil and Fitzy. Oh, and somebody's having a good old spin. It's Brownie, unfortunately. Now I'm going to go back up to Toby because we're going to follow him through. I don't think anybody's finished yet, and I think it will be Toby, because the car's ahead of him, I believe, as somebody else is spinning around. I can't see who it is, but we'll follow Toby through turn 9 and 10 and then across the line, because he is going to be the race winner. It may be Brian Moncani actually that finishes first in 6, but let's have a look. Toby, fantastic win for Toby, well deserved. Across the line he goes, so Toby takes the win. Neil Farmack is going to come in second. Around turn 9 he goes, trying to keep it on track. Through turn 10, you can see the checkered flag, and a good second place for Neil Farmack, with Fitzy in third. Fantastic, a lot of points for Fitzy there in third. Wadru is going to take fourth, and across the line he goes, a flash of the lights. Chuck will come across the line in fifth. Brian Moncani is going to come over in 6th. So let's just have a look to see who else is finishing. Right, Osmond has finished in 9th, Biggie has finished 10th, Stealth 11th, Slowpoke will come in 12th, with Browley 13th. So who's going to cross the line next? Slowpoke across the line in 12th, so let's see who's going to cross the line next. I think it may be Brian Moncani actually in 6th position. Well, there is quite a gap back, isn't there, to the rest of these guys, as we are just waiting. But Brian Moncani is going to finish in 6th, but the winner of the GR3s is going to be Grasshopper, as he crosses the line in 7th, with Dirk just behind him in 8th. Fantastic battle those guys had. So yeah, what a great race that was for this Wednesday multi-class. If you can join me next week, I would love to have you. We are going to be in Japan at Suzuka, I believe. So I look forward to seeing everybody there next week.